Hej och hjärtligt välkomna tillbaka efter lunchen. Amanda Termén heter jag. Jag driver språngkommunikation till vardags, men idag står jag här och är er moderator. Och det är extra roligt just idag, för vi har en lång kavalkad av företag som jobbar med grön energi framför oss. Jag tycker ni kan parkera i det här rummet nu. Och det känns ju jätteskoj eftersom jag jobbar med hållbarhet. Och vi ska inleda faktiskt med det finska inslaget. So I will switch over to English and say welcome to Jari Varjotie from Savosolar. Take the stage.
Thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's great to see all of you here, and I'm very happy to have the opportunity to talk about or give you an update on Savosolar. I see some familiar faces here, so I believe that quite a few have seen my presentations over here over the years, but I still in the beginning want to have a quick summary of the Savosolar. So we are making large-scale solar thermal systems. Main customer segments are industrial heating and then district heating. We are making the most efficient solar thermal collectors in the world. We already have strong reference base in Europe, especially in Denmark and France. And we have a very well-known brand also elsewhere. We have partners who are working with us and selling our systems in different places in the world. And as most of you know, that we are listed in the First North Growth market in Sweden and Helsinki. And this to give an idea what we are doing, so we basically do, our customers are using the heated water for heating the houses or the domestic water, district heating, or then industrial process heats. So this type of solutions are using our systems. And just to be sure that our customers are not producing electricity, only heat with our systems. This is how it looks like. This is a Danish district heating plant, 15,000 square meters of our collectors, and this district heating plant is producing more than 20% of annual heating needs for the village above there from solar thermal. We make the most efficient solar thermal collectors in the world, and that is because we have our unique technology that we are doing things differently than anybody else. So we have our technological ideas and patents. You can see on the left side, you can see the traditional way of doing absorbers. An absorber is the core of the collector where the water is floating and where the heat is transferred. And we have our unique, one-of-the-kind optical coating method. So we are able to utilize very efficient heat exchangers as our absorbers, like the thin-walled aluminium profile, as you can see there. And everybody can understand that heat is transferred very much more efficiently and uniformly on our solution that you can see on the right side than the traditional way of doing things. I have been always talking here about absorber technologies because that is the core of our high efficiency, but we have other technical features also in our products which are helping our customers. And I just wanted today to tell about those things a bit more. Here we have 5, this type of unique or differentiating technical features we have in our products. And here we have the customer benefits, how we define it. And we have decided already very long time ago that we don't want to develop the technology only because of technology. We want to develop something that is adding value to the customer. So help them succeed in their businesses. And out of this picture, I just want to highlight 3 points. I don't go through all of these. First thing is that we always use the best components and aim for the highest possible quality to assure that our customers are able to get the credible energy production throughout the lifetime of the system, which can be 25 years or even more. Secondly, so-called energy efficiency of our collectors and collector field is the best in the market. So basically, if you have a limited land area or roof area, expensive land, from our systems, customers are able to get more energy per day square meter than anybody else can produce. And third point here is that we have designed the collector so that it's glued. So it stops the rain and water go inside, which is damaging the efficiency and also the collector, and it's also making it very sturdy and solid throughout the years of the use. So we can proudly say that we have designed the collector to perform and built to last. Here are 5 other technical features and their customer benefits. And out of this, I just want to highlight this, that while we are designing the product and delivering the systems, we are also thinking about the installation at the site and also the maintenance and operation. So we have innovations and technical features which help the customers to minimize the cost of those elements. Few words about the markets and how it looks like. So we all know about the climate change and the actions we need to do to slow it down. I just read during the lunch from newspaper that actually this year there are more than ever in the history of mankind, or at least the measuring time, the climate changing emissions in the air. So whatever we have been doing, it has not stopped the growth in the air. So we need to do things regarding that. So this slide has been made by International Energy Agency Solar Heat and Cooling Task 55. And here it's illustrating the strict targets that European Union has been giving to its member countries to reduce the emissions, go out from the fossil fuels and go for renewable energy. And also it is shown here that, if I can use the, maybe not, better here. It shows that there is now target also that every member country should increase the amount of renewable heating by 1.3% every year. So European Union is also focusing on renewable heat, clean heating, not only the electricity as it has been. And if you think about renewable heat, what it basically is biomass or biogas, then it is ground heat pumps, or it can be then solar thermal. And it depends where you are, what you can use. And if you think about cases which is happening quite a lot, that you don't want to burn anything to do the heat, or then you don't have the biomass, as it is in many places, then solar thermal is very much a viable solution also in those places. This picture I have shown, I think, 3 years in every of my presentation, because I think this is one of the best pictures I have seen, which is explaining in district heating point of view where we are going, where we started, and where we are going, from high temperatures to lower temperatures, from low efficiency to high efficiency, with fossil fuels to renewable energies. And nowadays there are very few, how would I say, researchers or specialists who are talking about the single energy source, except lobbyists against for coal and oil and such things. Everybody's talking about energy systems, so you have to think about the whole usage of energy as a package and also the production of energy, and try to utilize as much as possible renewable energies over there. And we believe that solar thermal will be in an important role in this type of modern and future energy systems that are producing both electricity and heat to all of us. This infographics is also made by this Task 55 group, and this is basically putting the solar district heating in a 2-axis table. The other one is the size of the solar district heating systems, and the other one is the, how to say, technical readiness to utilize the technologies. And as you can see that countries like Austria, Germany, Denmark, and Sweden are in the best position to utilize the large scale, get the benefit out of the large scale solar thermal systems. And there are a lot of growing markets, potential markets in Europe, but also elsewhere. And what is also important that China is here. The potential is huge, and the technical capabilities are growing pretty fast. Additionally, in China, as well in other countries, there are quite substantial supporting features for all renewable heating elements, including solar thermal. In the previous slide, Germany was one of the most optimal places to utilize solar thermal in the district heating. And here is now the latest forecast of the German market. So it's showing the next 5 years growth in the solar district heating in Germany. And the growth is going to be significantly bigger than it has been or faster than it has been earlier. The target is huge. 12 terawatt hours means that there should be several millions of square meters of solar thermal district heating in Germany up and running 2050. And even that would be 10% out of that, that would be business for everybody for that time. But there are also several big systems coming up in different phases of the development. So design table or already asking the quotations. And I think all the big cities in Germany, they are making a lot of climate action plans. And part of that, in many places, is also solar thermal as one part. And it looks like now that finally I would say that there's a momentum for growth in Germany. We have been expecting that to happen, and now it looks like that it can happen. Summary of the market, so we have now, from our point of view, we have now the largest order backlog ever, thanks to the pretty much, of course, the French and German orders we have received. And we also have the biggest pipeline ever. And the quality of the pipeline, meaning as we see the probability of the project really to be realized is growing also all the time. And we have a lot of industrial process heating companies there instead of this, in addition to district heating. And France especially is very active. There are several projects in pipeline. And we actually already have the 3 references, which is more than anybody else is having, and we plan to be the leader in that market also in the future. This is our second delivery in France. It was taken into use in June. Well, actually, it was taken in February already into use, but the handover was happening in June. And this is the first, it is the biggest system at this moment in France, 4,000 square meters. And it is the first ever large-scale collector system that is put on a tracker that is following in a one axis the solar. And that was done because the paper machine, where the heat is going, wanted to have as much as possible energy from the limited land area. And the customer, our customer is New Heat, who has invested and they are selling energy to a paper machine. And this I want to highlight in that sense that the solar heat is used for preheating the steam the paper machine is using in their process. And by that the paper machine is able to reduce 30%, actually 32%, latest calculation, of their emissions annually. And they don't have to touch their own process at all. How good is that? We just can go and plug and play. We make the system and we put it there, and the paper machine can work as they do, and they reduce their emissions and fossil fuels at the same time. And there's a lot of similar type of processes in the world. This is how the tracker looks in real life. It's a highly shiny, nice system, and we are very proud of that. And one thing, in addition to give more energy from the limited land area, it is also giving opportunity to stop the solar production if the factory is closing down. And we are operating the system in Gondar, and we have already now noticed that the old paper machine every now and then stops. So we just move away the collectors and we stop the production, which is excellent tool for everybody in the system. This is our biggest delivery so far. It's a Danish district heating company, 21,000 square meters. And actually, let's take that away. That's our competitor's delivery. It has been there 5 years. And our customer is very happy of our system. And we have already now taken and will take in the coming months several new customers over there and show the system and its operation. This is interesting, and I don't go through it, but this has been made together with some scientists and Creno companies, so that's showing the economics of the system. It's producing very small fraction of the heat only at this moment still of the heating need because the need is so big. But you also see that the main cost for the whole thing is investment. The operational cost is very low and no fuel cost for the next 25 years or even longer when it's operating. So 5,300 consumers are getting now 6.5% of the energy from solar. We have 3 projects ongoing at this moment as those who have read our releases. This is our first delivery in Germany. And so that is 2 weeks old picture. This is from last Thursday, so we are just doing the piping in there. And the next phase will be water storage and then ramming the piles for foundations and then doing the installation of collectors. And that already has raised a lot of interest in German district heating companies. Our German sales guy has been asked to visit quite a few of them in the last weeks. This is the biggest system in Finland, very small. We have actually a bigger also in Sweden already, but anyhow it's growing every time in Finland, and this has now last week installed, and we are now starting the testing of that, and it will be a first ever for us and also in Finland that there will be solar thermal collectors and heat pump combined together, and that will be very interesting to operate and see how that can be how those 2 technologies can be benefiting each other. And it will be fully emission-free small district heating plant, which is again a great thing. And this is our biggest order so far. It's not yet delivered, but it's illustrated where the collectors are, and this is how it's going to look in summer. And this will be the biggest system in France and also the biggest process heating system in whole Europe after this. Our customer is Kyotherm, who is selling the energy to the big factory over there who is drying malt. So drying barley to make malt for the beers yeah. And it is again a brilliant example of an industry where you can use solar thermal as a clean and economical source of heat, energy and heat. And I believe and I know that there are several this type of solutions coming up in the future, and we plan to make big deal out of those by us. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Jari. Please come over and answer some questions.
Excellent.
So you're looking happy today?
Yes. Also today.
Yeah, every day. Like always in Finland. Yes, so how would you describe the situation for Savosolar right now?
As I have said today, several people who have visited our stand, you can come over there later on, I've said that it's looking good. It's better every day. And it's a bit too slow still, so it could be better, but it's looking every day better.
Because I know when we were at the time of the half-year report, you weren't really happy with the results. What happened?
Well, the first thing is that, as I wrote there also, that the customers' decisions take a long time. And the first half we were waiting the Isudan decision from the customer all the time. They were saying, yes, it will come, and yes, it will come. And we kept our resources ready to do it, because then they have a very big hurry. And then finally we got the final order and launch to go after the summer. That was one thing that happened, and unfortunately, so the first half we didn't have very much. We had something to do, but not the level as we were prepared.
Okay, so negotiations were taking too long, but now did it all pay off? Did you get where you wanted, or?
Yes,
Yep.
yes, and we are now making the collectors and installing them in the beginning of the year.
And also you have a partnership in China.
Yes.
Could you tell us something about it?
First of all, we see that China will be a very important place for clean heating. Also solar thermal, they will do also something else. They do also coal, as we know, and everything else they need that, but still they have to reduce the emissions, and the government is supporting that very much. And we see that our technology would have a very good potential in China to be used maybe in district heating, but what we are aiming mainly for is industrial heat, like paper machines and dairy businesses, where you need below 100 degrees. And we have a Chinese partner. They all are big companies compared to us, who is then looking the customers, and we plan to do things together, and it looks very promising.
So it looks promising, but when could we see business?
Yeah, so we have said in our last release, if I remember right, that we expect that it will happen sometime next year, and I stick to that. If we can do faster, then we send a release out.
Yeah, okay. Do we have some questions in the audience? And I will repeat it in that case before you get to answer. Yeah. Okay, so how are you doing on the stock market right now?
Well, the stock share price in euros was something like a bit more than 1 cent last week. So it's not the lowest, but it's not neither, of course, the highest. So it has been going down from the beginning, but anyhow, we have seen also a good movement in the past, let's say, half year. But it's going up and down.
Yep. More questions from the audience? Yeah?
I have a technical question, and that's about if you compare, or say something about the relation, if you have that amount of solar cells that generate electricity instead of heating water, and you use that electricity to warm up water. How is the relation?
How is the relation if you would compare your solar panels creating heat with creating electricity and then heating the water?
Yeah, very good question. The solar thermal collectors, in our case, they are 3 to 5 times more effective than PV panels. So from the same land area, you can get 3 to 5 times more energy than with PV panels. So basically, when you have a large-scale need for heating, at least for now and coming several years, the large-scale solar thermal is more economical than using the PV, especially if you have a limited land area. And then, of course, in my mind, it would be better to use electricity where you need electricity, and then do heating with direct heating, and so they are supporting each other rather than competing.
Yeah, that was the answer. More questions? Not for the moment. Okay. So I'm wondering, a problem with solar energy for a long time has been expensive materials and production costs. What's happening there? What's your situation?
I think all the energy sources have gotten subsidies in the beginning, if you think about it. And in coal, for example, is getting subsidies even nowadays if you go in different countries, and gas. So all the energy sources have been subsidized in the beginning, but I see that the whole solar energy can be definitely a very competitive also from the pricing point of view, especially when you calculate also the benefits of having the no emission energy sources.
Absolutely. Also, I'm wondering, you are working on your cost effectiveness, right?
Yes.
What are you doing and how is it going?
Well, of course, the volume always is increasing the capability of reducing the cost that we can see already now. Then we are doing some product modifications. Then we have been finding alternative sources to buy the components. Additionally, as we have seen the Isudan project, for example, our collector price or cost is less than 1/4 of the total delivery. So we see a huge amount of potential in the purchases we do for the projects, and that is something we are just learning. So we are doing quite a lot of work on that side.
Also, you're telling us you're making the most efficient solar energy panels. And then I'm wondering, what is your competition? What does the landscape look like?
So we basically have only a very few companies who are able both to make their own technology for the large-scale collectors and then deliver the whole solar thermal system. It looks simple, but actually it's not. And then, of course, we have smaller players, engineering companies who are buying the collectors and everything. But I would say that we meet with our two main competitors everywhere in the world. So wherever you go, we all are competing, three of us.
And also, you were telling us about these huge installations about to happen in Germany. So who's doing them? It's not you?
Well, they are just coming up in the design table, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so it might be you?
Of course,
Yeah.
we are aiming to that, yeah. At least, well, as said, that in France we are having clearly the biggest market share.
Yeah.
And we do everything to kick everybody out. And of course, in Germany, somebody else tried to do that for us, so that's the case.
Yeah, but you're also talking about the EU goals. I mean, is there room for everybody?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that is supporting the whole thing. And I would say that for us, even though we are competing hard against our competitors, I think that we are happy if our competitors are succeeding and vice versa, because that is increasing the whole business, and that's most important for us.
The understanding for the
Yeah.
technology, yeah. Also, the capital that you have right now,
Yep.
how far will it take you?
Well, we have now the warrants striking in 1 week time, and we have underwritten 3.5 million euros, and that will, as we informed in March when we had the share issue, that share issue and this warrants with the minimum will take at least 12 months. So this is now higher volume, so it will take it a bit longer than at least. It depends, of course, then the project, how the projects are going. The challenge is that the projects are capital intensive. It goes up and down. So we rather than having a lack of capital, we sometimes have how we handle the cash flow. But I think it's looking pretty good now.
Mm-hmm. Also, very shortly, you have a dispute with a company called Santiases?
Yes.
Yes. How does it affect you? How is it going? Because you're waiting for some kind of negotiations.
The court will decide the verbal hearings end of January, and so far we have nothing else to say that we see the acquisition groundless.
Yeah, but could it be a hard strike for you in case that would go badly?
We don't believe.
You don't believe so?
No.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Jari, for the updates. And you will be in the company corner
Yes,
outside,
I will be
right?
there, yeah.
For the people who have more questions.
Yeah.
So thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
May the sun shine on you.
Thank you. Thank you.